Okay, everybody, and we're back. It is time. I'm going to separate the rotor and stator housing from the generator. It is now loose. As you can see, I can shift it. So we're going to kind of wiggle it slowly out and kind of mind our wires. Watch out for... Oh, I say that and I haven't even minded my own wires because there's some more wires to undo. Okay. So, just keep an eye on where everything is at. I don't see anything connecting to the actual generator body. So we should be good as we slowly start to remove it. And kind of wiggle it and just kind of slowly get it out of there. So far we're separated that far, about an inch from the body of the generator. So far so good. I don't see any damaging things happening. Undo these little field wires here because I don't know if they will possibly have problems as I pull it out. I don't want them to get stuck and get yanked. And keep on going. Okay, so far so good. Feels like we're getting stuck on something. You can see the bearing has pulled through here. That's the old bearing. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Okay. Let's keep on going. Ooh, she's off. There is a wire I can see that is now. What is it attached to? Okay, there is a wire that is attached. So I'm going to rest this right here, the stator housing. Whoa, okay, so that is definitely the rotor. Wow. Seen that yet before. Okay, I think that's for that little the oil pressure sensor. Uh-oh, okay. Move this board right here so it helps support the weight. Okay, so it's partially off now. Now all I gotta do is get to that oil pressure sensor and remove the wire from it. So I'm gonna take off this cover here, get my tool out here. Those are not 14 millimeters. See what they are. One of the above. I'm going to get back with him and tools. That's the generator. Alrighty everyone, let's take this cover here off. We're just going to take this bolt off the top here. And drop the bolt. That's part of the plan. 100%. Actually, I'm going to store these bolts in a different place because I don't want them to get mixed up with the bolts that I took off during the process of removing the stator. Okay. This little bolt here is holding on. Let's see what size that is. size for that. This bolt here. Drop it too. Really good at dropping things, everyone. If there's a competition in that, I'd do pretty good. And there's one more bolt right by the oil filter. That's going to be a pain in the butt for you to get unless you have a open end wrench, which I'm about to go grab. Alrighty, good old 10mm wrench. Let's get in here and get this cover off. Alrighty. Alright, with that we should be able to remove the cover. Something is still holding on pretty tight. Might be the actual outside cover here. Let's see if I can wiggle past it maybe. Oh no, there's another bolt. It's hidden. It's all the way up in here. Wow, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see where I'm heading with my socketing wrench there, but it's going up under the cover. And there's another bolt hiding right up underneath there. There we go. Sneaky little one. Yeah, there it is. See if we can kind of rotate out of there. Boom, it's off. Look at that. That's disgusting. Let's put the cover over here for now. Well, easy access to change that oil filter, even though they already kind of gave it to you in the first place. Big old thing. Alright, we should be able to see where that oil pressure sensor line now goes. It goes way back in there. Oh, actually it just goes behind the oil filter. Okay, I can see where it goes. I'll show you guys. Okay, so if you guys look in there, right above the oil filter is where that wire goes, the oil pressure sensor. That's the last wire that's connected to the actual control panel that holds this on, besides the wires right here, which were hooked up to the electric heater choke, and then this wire here, which was for the ignition coil up there. But that ripped off anyway, so I gotta repair that now. So I should be able to go in here and take a pair of pliers and remove this little connector. And there it is. I should be able to kind of, there it is, the whole thing. Disgusting oily little connector, gone. Now we can fully remove the stator housing. So let's get to that. Alright everyone, let's go ahead and move the stator housing over to its new home. Scoot this board over a little bit. Let's pick it up. Oh man. Man, that thing is heavy, isn't it? Alright. Woo. Move the wires over for it. And wow, that is it. It is disconnected. I did it. I surprised myself once again. I'm going to take the camera now off my camera stand and try to show you guys a bunch of close-up looks so maybe you can see things that I don't see when it comes to what I can do to this while it's apart. So here's this, I guess, yeah, this is officially called the rotor. I did my homework, everyone. Why is the name escaping me? The brushes run on these. They look really clean, actually. I expected to have to clean them, but I don't think I need to. That is the flywheel that's hooked up to this rotor. These things here have some rust on them. Looks like there's some sort of friction pads on top of these coils. You can barely see the copper. It's almost completely covered in this, like, looks like almost like it's that stuff that, you know how the Statue of Liberty turned green because it's made out of copper. I think that's what's happening here. I wonder how I can remove that, or maybe if I should or shouldn't. I don't know if that's inhibiting the process of creating power with the generator or not. Here's the inside of the stator, although it's very dusty. To me, it doesn't look as if it's in any bad condition of any type. You can kind of see way down in there. That's the bearing at the very bottom that I'm replacing, the whole reason I'm doing this. You can see the field wires for the brush block, and you can see where the brush block hooked up, and you can see a good glob of silicone where that guy put the silicone all over everything. Thank you, silicone guy. So that's what everything looks like on the inside. Now, I am going to clean this guy up and probably maybe put a coat of black paint on there. I do have some aluminum primer and 500 degree paint in my arsenal, so that might be something that I do to make this generator look really cool. I'm going to do some painting while it's apart and while I'm also waiting on you guys to send me messages, because I would love to hear your thoughts on everything being broken down, because you guys see more than I can see sometimes. It's always good to have a second pair of eyes. You can see down in here the two brackets that I had. The bolt that went through those, this big bolt right here, the one I was talking about, I couldn't show you guys underneath it. Well, that bolt goes right up through that and into the thing here. Let's see if I can find out where this is. That's the top, so this is the bottom. So right over here, yeah, you can see the big old bolt holes on the bottom of this thing that the little bushings connected to, so you do have to remove those. I kind of thought so. Had a feeling, because it doesn't just sit on top of them, I would imagine. That wouldn't do a very good job. It'd probably just bounce on top of them, make more vibration. So yeah, that's them disconnected. Whew, I'm proud of myself for doing this. Last big step before I install it in the RV. One more thing that I could ask you guys about is my generator compartment over here on the side of my RV. On the inside of it, I took all the insulation down, so it looks nice and clean. But I'm trying to think, what kind of insulation should I put back in? So if you guys have an idea about what you think I should use, maybe let me know. Budget friendly, please. I'm trying to put the budget for insulation between 50 and 75 to insulate this compartment at maximum. So if you guys could maybe give me a tip, that'd be awesome. Otherwise I'll do some research, of course. You can see I got the connector. I found the original one that plugs into my remote wires. I got them already soldered and heat shrinked and all nice and ready to go, so that's great. That there's ready to go. Hope to be making some power soon. Okay, so I'm going to remove this bearing right here. So let's see if I can get it out of there without destroying the whole thing. take the biggest socket I have on hand, which fits right there. I'm going to pound it and see if I can pound it out of there. That might not work. I don't know which direction this thing's actually supposed to go. So I'm going to take a cloth here, kind of clean it a little bit. Okay. It might help to get the replacement bearing and take a look at it. Alright, so I got some parts here. Got the gasket that goes around the area here where the bearing goes. And here is what the brand new bearing looks like. Okay, so it's practically a smooth surface. I should be able to pound this thing either direction when it's in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a flathead and pound it around the edges first. Oh yeah, look at that. That's so much smoother than what this is. It sounds like sandpaper. You don't want the sandpaper bearing, you want the smooth, greased bearing on your generator. Okay, let's go ahead and pound out that bearing. See what happens if I get it from the edge. Doing nothing but destroying that. Okay, let's just see if I hit it directly with the hammer. Okay, that might be working, everybody. Looks like one more hit and this thing comes out of there. I don't know if I'm hitting the right thing or not, but we'll find out. Ready, everyone? Probably the best bet to do this with a socket as a buffer in between you and it. Got it. Whew. I may have dented the outer surface, but that's okay. I can fix that. You learn as you go. Don't hit it on the sides, hit it in the center. Oh, let's get that bearing recovered. Whew. Alright, so this is the old bearing here. Absolutely disgusting. I got the new bearing that's going to go in. Let's go ahead and clean the surface on the inside here. Really good. Okay. Now, I've seen people, they actually put the bearing on the engine part. I think that my bearing was supposed to probably come off on this part on the engine, but it didn't because it was kind of broken. So what I might end up doing is, instead of inserting this bearing into here, I might, oh, well, it fits rather loose on the actual engine part. I'm going to see if I can show you guys that. don't know if that's normal or not, so I might actually hold off on installing the bearing until you guys see it. So this is the bearing here. I mean, that is looser than I imagined it would be. I don't know if it's because the shaft is worn out or something, but yeah, that's loose. So in my opinion, I'm probably going to install it into this, into the stator housing, because it looks like it'll slide onto that pretty easy. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and install the bearing into here, since that's a tighter area to get it into. But first, let's get that old ring gasket out of there. See if I can get it to kind of... There we go. There's the old gasket. Now we'll put the new one on, and then we'll grease up everything so that it all goes on nice and smooth. Go ahead and fit this in there. Freaking mosquitoes. Oh, God. Go ahead and kind of push that into the crevice it goes into. There. That snaps nicely in place. Now we're going to grease everything up. Put the bearing back in. I'm going to insert it actually from the other side, I believe. If I can maybe smooth this little bump out here. I'm going to go ahead and grab something to smooth that out with. So for that area where I accidentally nicked it during the install, I'm going to sand it a little bit in that area. First, take the gasket back out real quick. Alright. Pretty good to me. Let's put in that new rubber gasket. Goes in nicely. Perfect. And then let's get everything nice and lubricated so that we can install that bearing. I am using a special petroleum-based lubricant to lube up my bearing and the housing area in here. Basically, I just stuck my finger into the generator and pulled some oil out and used it because I have no lubricants on hand. So now And so I can start kind of pushing this into place. I'm going to lightly tap around the edges here. Okay, uh-oh, nope, no. This might not be the right way, everyone. Don't scream at me if I'm wrong. But remember, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, as you heard, it's seated all the way. Every one of you might be screaming at me right now for the method I just used, but you know what? It worked, and that's kind of all I really care about. The bearing is in. It is in there firm, and yeah. Like I said, you don't have to do it my way. I am not a professional, but it is in, and it looks beautiful, in my opinion. And I'm excited. The only thing I worry about is the fact that this part here is kind of weird, but that's all right. Maybe there's a way to fix that, or maybe I just leave it alone. You guys can help me decide that. But however, our disgusting old bearing is out and replaced by our brand new fancy looking bearing. So I think I can live with that. You guys don't know how long I've been waiting to get this done so I could put the generator into my RV. It's very exciting. Okay, so now that that's done, that's actually really it for this video. I am going to do some work to this off camera and paint it and clean it up and make it look really, really good before I reinstall it, because I just like my things looking nice and making sure that they're also safe, since if I paint them, it protects them. Yes, I'm using engine paint. Anybody who's asking and thinking, oh, if the paint gets hot, it's just going to peel. Not if I use engine paint, and I painted engine, so if I can paint an engine, I can paint this thing. It's technically an engine by some means. And no, I will not get any paint on the rotor or stator. I'm going to make sure they're protected. Alright everyone, so I think that does it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed me tinkering with my generator and just in general deconstructing it, showing that it's pretty easy. If you want to do this yourself, as long as your generator's not in your RV, because that would be the hard part. I already kind of did the hard part. The generator's out of the RV, so I'm working on it outside of it. But it's not that hard. I really thought it would be harder. But it came apart quite easy, and I hope it'll go back together just as easy as it came apart. So give me your guys' feedback when you get a chance. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to see what you guys are seeing with your expert eyes. And hopefully I will be back with another video very soon with me reassembling the generator. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe out there. Bye y'all.